we are going to be talking with David Icke. Now, I know a lot of you guys know who he is. If you have been paying attention to anything New World Order related over the last 30 years, he has been really knocking it out of the park with his books and videos he releases through davidicke.com. He also has a show here on Band.videos, so I encourage you to head over there and check him out on that show. I mean, he has been knocking it out of the ballpark with his analysis of COVID. And so that's what I wanted to talk to him about. I wanted to talk to him about the COVID vaccine. And more specifically, I wanted to talk to him about Donald J. Trump. Now, I know a lot of you really love Trump. And I get it. You know, he's a charismatic guy. He has a big talk game. But is he really going to drain the swamp and restore our civil liberties here in America in the next election? Well, we're going to be talking with David Icke about this very thing. We're also going to be talking to him about this COVID vaccine. So it should be a great show. We're also going to be playing all 3 episodes of the Covidland trailer. If you haven't seen Covidland 3, guys, make sure you go to InfoWarsStore.com, or you can head over to our website, FramingTheWorld.com, and purchase a copy of Covidland 3, The Shot. It is a fantastic movie, guys. It is my best film I've made to date. And so I really hope you guys head over there, support us, support the show by getting a copy of our best film. I mean, I really believe it is the most powerful film I've made. And so go to framingtheworld.com, type in Covidland in the search, and it'll pop up, guys. Get Covidland 1, 2, or 3 over on framingtheworld.com and support us. But like I said, we're going to be speaking with David Icke here in a few minutes. So I encourage you all to share this video out there. It's going to be bombshell, guys. It's going to be really powerful information. I mean, how can it not be? The guy has studied up on these things for the last 30 years. I mean, I read his book, The Biggest Secret, years ago. I don't even remember when that came out, but I was living in Los Angeles back at that time, and a long time ago, read that book, and I was like, man, this guy is pretty stinking good. So I am a big fan of David Icke. Obviously, we can disagree about certain things, but, you know, all in all, he's a great guy, really does do a great job at exposing these New World Order clowns. And he has a lot of fantastic books on his website, davidicke.com, that you can go check out. He has a lot of new books on the store. I've read 3 of his books. I've read the Trigger. I've read The Biggest Secret, and I've read the David Icke Guide to Global Conspiracy. But I really have to get his newest books and read them, because I'm sure they're going to shed a lot of light into this whole COVID hoax that has been going on. So without too much, I just wanted to start off the show by playing Covidland 3 trailer 1 for you guys, just to get you pumped, get you excited about this series. Make sure you go out to framingtheworld.com and get a copy of this, guys. But here is trailer 1 of Covidland 3.
So the worst possible thing you could do is vaccinate somebody to prevent infection and actually make them worse.
mRNA is messenger RNA. It's a message that's being sent from your DNA to your cells, telling your cells what to do to maintain health. In this case, create a protein. Any technology that does something brand new inside of our bodies needs to be watched for years, if not decades.
If they tell you that it's safe and effective, they're lying because we don't have the data yet. They need to tell you that you are part of a stage 4 research experiment. You are the lab rat. You are the guinea pig.
This is a scientific dictatorship. This is the greatest hoax and the greatest power grab in human history.
Get your DVD copy of Covidland 3, The Shot, at InfoWarsStore.com.
So I think a good way to start off the show today is by playing a couple of clips of Donald Trump talking about the vaccines because, make no mistake, he is the one that pushed out these vaccines. He has been bragging about it since day one, how he is the one that got these vaccines out in record time. It happened under his administration. I truly believe that Donald Trump's response to this whole COVID hoax is an example of who his masters truly are and where his loyalties lie. And so I'm going to just start off by playing this clip because a lot of truthers out there, they tend to forget that, they're all anti-vaccine, but they tend to forget that Donald J. Trump is a big proponent of this COVID vaccine. And so, or I should say COVID shot. So let's play this first clip of Donald Trump back in December of 2020. So let's just go back to when they got this vaccine, when they released this vaccine out to the public. This is a clip of his Christmas message back in December of 2020.
We are delivering millions of doses of a safe and effective vaccine that will soon end this terrible pandemic and save millions and millions of lives. We're grateful for all of the scientists, researchers, manufacturing workers, and service members who have worked tirelessly to make this breakthrough possible. It is truly a Christmas miracle.
Is the COVID shot a Christmas miracle, or is it a death shot? Is it a shot that will maim and injure you and cause serious problems in your life? Will it give you cancer? These are all the things that they knew were facts. They knew back when Donald Trump did this that this shot is deadly, that all the tests prior to the release of this vaccine actually killed the animals in the animal trials. So he knew that this shot was dangerous. And if you say, oh, he didn't know at that time, he was just, misguided. Well, this is his response a year later, a year after the release of the shot. The shot's been out for a year. There has been thousands and thousands of injuries as a result of the shot as of this point. And this is his response a year later in late 2021. So let me play this clip here, guys, and this will be a very telling of where his loyalties lie, and they are not for the American people.
The vaccine is one of the greatest achievements of mankind. We would have had in 1917, remember the Spanish flu, killed perhaps 100 million people. Actually, it ended the First World War because the soldiers were so. A lot of people don't know that. The soldiers got so sick. It was a terrible thing. There were no vaccines. There was no anything. I came up with a vaccine, with 3 vaccines. All are very, very good. Came up with 3 of them in less than 9 months. It was supposed to take 5 to 12 years.
And yet more people have died under COVID this year, by the way, under Joe Biden, than under you. And more people took the vaccine this year. So people are questioning how...
Well, no, the vaccine worked, but some people aren't taking it. The ones that get very sick and go to the hospital are the ones that don't take the vaccine. But it's still their choice. And if you take the vaccine, you're protected. Look, the results of the vaccine are very good. And if you do get it, it's a very minor form. People aren't dying when they take the vaccine.
Yeah, they are, Trump. They are dying when they take the vaccine. It has been proven. Go to the VAERS database, which lists thousands of people dying as a result of taking this shot. So that is just a complete lie right there, that no one's dying from taking this vaccine. Yeah, right. They are dying. And we prove that in Covidland 3, the shot. We have the longest segment. I mean, we show injury after injury after injury as a result of taking this shot. We show people dying, death after death after death, proving the fact that they are dying from this shot. So why is he saying this? If he's standing up for our liberty, if he's supposed to save us and come in and just be this, I mean, I don't even know what they're saying. I have not been following this whole pro-Trump movement since day one, because I'm a firm believer that whoever ends up in office is clearly not for us. They are dismantling our country piece by piece, and they know that the best way to do that is by putting up figures that we think will save us, like Donald Trump. So is he going to save us? No. And this is a second trailer from Covidland 3 showing the injuries, showing the deaths. And you know what? Guys, if you haven't seen Covidland 3, go out, get the DVD today, and support us. I can't tell you enough. We need your support. We need you to go out there, get a couple of them, and share it to your friends and family. They need to wake up. They need to know the truth so they don't take this experimental mystery gene therapy shot.
There are more allergic reactions to the COVID vaccines than first expected.
Headaches, nausea, hallucinations, and yes, even death.
I've lost count of the injuries. Things like urinating clots of blood, paresthesias, gastroparesis, altered mental status, respiratory arrest, cardiac arrest, new onset diabetes. I have patients who can't walk anymore. I've just never seen anything like this in all my years of practicing medicine.
Well, these people are creating a whole conspiracy theory, and they are trying to basically to benefit and profit from this fear of the people. And this is who are the criminals. Those that they don't get the vaccine, they are people that are afraid. The people that are circulating all this misinformation, they are criminals.
Get your DVD copy of Covidland 3, The Shot, at InfoWarsStore.com.
Yeah. Covidland 3, The Shot, at InfoWarsStore.com. Guys, go out, get this movie, share it with your friends and family. It is powerful. It is the truth bomb that this world has been waiting for, and so we just need to get it out there to people. We need to put this in their hands and say, watch this. If they're going to go out and get the shot, this is a loved one of yours, it is worth the $20 investment to hand them this movie and say, just look, watch this movie before you decide to get the shot. And I'm sure if you do that, they will not walk away after watching this 90-minute movie. Actually, I think it's even longer than that. This over 2-hour movie showing without a doubt that it does maim and injure and cause harm. They will not walk away after watching this film and go get the shot. So so we know that Trump is clearly a puppet. He has loyalties that lay not for the American people, but for himself. And so what do we think about this whole Trump raid? I mean, clearly he is for the American people. I mean, look at how he's being persecuted. Look how the FBI just raided Trump's Mar-a-Lago mansion. I mean, obviously he's not with the deep state, or they would have never raided his mansion. Well, we're going to be also talking to David Icke about this very topic, because I think this really does play into the idea that he is a rebel, a guy that is for the freedoms of the American people. But is he for the freedoms of the American people? Is he going to save us in the next election? I am excited to talk with David Icke here in a few minutes about this whole Trump FBI raid. And, I know his opinion on this raid because, I've watched the last few videos he's released on his channel on davidicke.com. So it's refreshing to hear someone that is in the truther movement speaking out against Donald Trump. Another hot topic in the news today is Biden's pledge to eliminate student debt. And I thought this meme really summed up this whole conversation. Just to be clear, there is no plan to eliminate student debt. There is a plan to transfer that debt to those who don't owe it. That is the truth. Again, we're going to be talking with David Icke about this topic as well. So we're going to go right to trailer number 3 of Covidland. Watch that. Come back from the commercial break with David Icke. He should be on here in a little bit. So let's play trailer 3 of Covidland. Here we go.
While they can't force people to be vaccinated, they can penalize those who don't.
Eventually, what we'll have is certificates of who's a recovered person, who's a vaccinated person.
Want to go to a game at the Garden, Stray? Show me your passport. Want to go to a Broadway show? Show me your passport. Want to go to a concert? Show me your passport. So how about if you want to go to this college? Show me your vaccine passport.
This whole pandemic has nothing to do with the virus. It has everything to do about control, and the vaccine is the mechanism to do that.
Let's be clear about one thing. No one grants me freedom, for I am a free person.
They are about to make their final move. Now is the time to wake people up. Buy several copies of Covidland 3, The Shot, and give them to everyone you know at InfoWarsStore.com.
All right, so that was trailer 3 of Covidland 3. Again, if you haven't seen that film, go out and get it. Support us, guys. We have David Icke on the line now. So we're going to go to a commercial break here in a couple of seconds. And then when we come back, we are going to get him on the show and get his thoughts about these different topics. So it should be a great show, guys. Share this video and make sure to head over to our Rockfin channel. That is where we go live right now every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And also, we do call-ins in the third segment. So if you want to call into today's show, get that number written down here, guys. You're going to be able to call in after the interview with David Icke, 231-652-6800 or 231-652-6801. So I don't want to keep David Icke waiting too long over here. So let's go to our commercial break, and then we will come back and talk with him about these various topics. So stay tuned, guys. Stay tuned. Make sure to share this video so we can get this information out there. David Icke coming up in the next segment.
Framing the World is sponsored by Rediscover Television. Rediscover Television is better family entertainment. They bring you back to a time when the family could gather around the TV, and you didn't have to worry about what your children may watch. With amazing shows like The Chosen, classic Looney Tunes cartoons, and controversial documentaries like Covidland, Rediscover Television is your new place for better family entertainment. Go to rediscovertelevision.com and click Watch Now.
Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in to our new show here on Band.Video. Before we get into the next segment, I wanted to tell you real quick about a special we're having on our DVD, Fluoride, Poison on Tap. This movie is one of my favorite documentaries I've ever made. It is a must-watch for those who haven't seen it, because the globalists are still polluting the drinking water with this toxic chemical in many parts of the world today. Fluoride Poison on Tap was produced by G. Edward Griffin back in 2015. It features many well-known people here on the InfoWars platform, including Mike Adams, Dr. Paul Conant, Dr. Edward Group, Dr. David Kennedy, Gary Pittman, and more. So go to framingtheworld.com and get 30% off your order by typing in promo code RWATER at checkout. All right, welcome back to Framing the World Live. I'm your host, Paul Wittenberger, stepping in for Liberty Man here today. Should be a really powerful interview that you're about to watch. We have a very special guest here on the program today. We're going to be talking with David Icke in just a few minutes. I really wanted to have him on the show to talk about Trump, to talk about the FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago. Last week, he posted a video on band.video and on his website, davidicke.com, a 45-minute video called Follow the Leader Over the Cliff. And I thought that video was so well executed and laid out that I really do encourage everyone to go check out that video on his website. And so, you know, a lot of people don't like to talk about these things because it's not a popular subject to talk about, especially in the conspiracy movement right now. I don't know why, but people really seem to love Donald Trump. And so, David, is Donald Trump going to restore the republic back to how it used to be? Is he going to drain the swamp if he gets reelected again? What are your thoughts on Donald Trump and this FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago?
I've been looking at Donald Trump since he first ran for the Republican nomination. He started out with nearly 20 people to overcome. We were told the Republican Party hierarchy didn't want him, and they didn't want him to win. And he won. And soon as he became the Republican nominee, I said, this guy's going to win because he's been chosen to become president this time. And we can debate quite openly how much he knows or how much he's being manipulated. But the whole grasping of the understanding of where we're being taken is to understand where we're being taken and what the goals of that direction are. I call it know the outcome and you'll see the journey. If you don't know the outcome that's planned, then everything seems random, seems as if it's just happened. But when you know what the outcome is designed to be, suddenly daily events and world events take on the role of stepping stones towards that outcome. And so you had a situation before Trump came to power where what the cabal, the global cult, as I call it, wanted was to divide and rule America. Divide it on political grounds, divide it on racial grounds, which is what BLM is all about. And to do that, you go down the road of a guy called Saul Alinsky, who operated out of were people like Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, and Hillary Clinton. And he wrote a book called Rules for Radicals. And in that, he said, as he explained how you turn a democratic society into a communist one, that you don't target faceless bureaucrats and faceless corporations. You pick one man and you focus all blame and all attention on him or her, whoever it may be. And in doing that, you polarize society. And so we had in this Trump period a situation where American politics was basically, do you hate Trump or do you love Trump? And that polarization has been exactly what this cabal wants, because ultimately it wants a civil war. Because when you're society, which is what's happening in America, this is why the southern border is now wide open. This is why the American economy is being dismantled. This is why governments of all shades and corporations have overseen the transfer, the supply chain to China over decades. It's because what we're watching is the dismantling, not just of American society, but of Western society. That's the outcome. And once you know that's the outcome, all these different things that appear to be happening independently become clear stepping stones to that outcome. And, you know, I looked at Trump in his 4 years in office. I heard the words. I heard the drain the swamp. I heard we're going to arrest and charge Hillary Clinton, that we are going to stand up for freedom. And then I saw actually very little and often none of that in his 4 years in office. Meantime, down in Florida, you have the governor, Ron DeSantis, who's not been talking about it, he's been doing it. It was he that pushed back on the COVID fascism. It was he that pushed back on mandatory vaccinations and indeed the vaccinations for many age groups in general, fake vaccinations actually. And it's he who's changed the law to push back on children being indoctrinated in schools over sexuality and gender. And if Trump runs again, well, that's going to muddy the waters massively. For any possible run, he might not, by DeSantis. And, you know, there are some things that where people really do reveal themselves and where they're really coming from. And one of them with Trump, well, we can talk about the fake vaccines and Operation Warp Speed, pushing through untested fake vaccines that have had a catastrophic effect on fatality and life-changing health consequences. But for me, in the latter days of his presidency, he had the opportunity to truly stand up for freedom and say, I'm going to pardon Julian Assange because he's being vilified for revealing to the public what the public had absolutely every right to know. And I'm also going to pardon, he could have said, Edward Snowden, because he revealed things that the public has every right to know. But instead of pardoning those two people, he pardoned a series of deeply corrupt people, some of them connected closely, family members, to his senior advisor and son-in-law, Jared Kushner. I wouldn't trust to tell me the time in a room full of clocks. And they were pardoned, some real crooks. And these people that revealed what the public need to hear were not. And so how much of a conscious fraud he is, we can debate. But the fact that he has muddied the waters, and what I said is that, you see, the thing is, the people that support Trump, I am completely or virtually completely in sync with. Because the people who support Trump support him because they believe he is a vehicle to achieve what they want. which is a pushback end to this gathering fascism around the world, and not least in America. That's why they support it. So they are the pushbackers. And what this global is to isolate and destroy the pushbackers, and them unable to have their desires met. And so here we are with a situation that I did say was coming, in which they're on the way to being led to glorious failure. And what happened on January the 6th was all part of that. The idea that it was an insurrection is an absolute insult to the intelligence. But it's demonized, or been used to demonize, the pushbackers in general. And so I said that I believed that Trump was there to lead the pushbackers to glorious failure. And I would strongly make politics of any shade is not there to change society for the better. There are some individuals that want to do that, absolutely. But in general, it's not. It's there to stop society being improved for the better. And so if we get caught in the idea that politics is going to change anything, then we're handing our power to politicians. And if you look at the simple mathematics, there are 335 million, probably a lot more, but 335 million people in America. There are coming up to 8 billion in the world. And they are having their lives dictated, changed, challenged, destroyed often by a tiny, tiny number of people. And therefore, the pocket calculator will tell you where the answer lies. It lies in vast numbers of people. What was it? 74 million people were supposed to vote for Trump at the last election, not cooperating with the system of imposition. When they say lockdown, you don't lock down. When they tell you to do this or do that, and it's obviously there to as a road to enslavement, you don't do it. And it doesn't matter then what they pass on Capitol Hill, or what Biden says when he walks out of the White House with great help to read a script written for him. If the people in large enough numbers won't cooperate, won't do it, it cannot be done. There's not enough to enforce it. And so we get caught in this idea that changing the politics is the answer. No, changing the dynamic between the people and those in government is the answer. So we do not cooperate with impositions there to enslave us. That means if we do it in enough numbers, they cannot be imposed. And you switch the dynamic from the people serving government to government serving the interests of the people, because if they don't, then you won't cooperate with them. And so the idea that changing politics is going to change anything. I mean, there are some people in the Republican Party who are pushing back, individuals, yes, seriously pushing back and saying this is not right. The vast majority of the Republican Party is just another face of the one-party state with the Democrats. And so they're not going to change anything. And so when you hear people who say, I'm fed up with this, I'm fed up with the way the world's going, what do they often say? I'm going to start a new political party. But that never changes anything. We change it by refusing to cooperate. And that's far, far more powerful than any politician, and beyond the gift of any politician. So it's no good taking your power away or taking your power back and saying we don't want this, and then saying, but I'm now going to give me power to another individual, Trump or anybody. It doesn't work. It's never worked.
Right. Well, the elites are masters of psychology. They truly know the best way to manipulate a population into doing what they want them to do. They've learned throughout history the best way, the easiest way to get a population on board with you. And I really believe that Donald Trump was key in this whole COVID hoax. I mean, without him in office, there's no way they could have implemented all the draconian measures that they did here in the United States as easily as they did, without him in office. I mean, if they would have had Hillary Clinton in office, there's no way that half of these laws would have been followed if she was in office. That people would have revolted and said, no way, Hillary, am I closing down my business. So what are your thoughts on that, David?
Well, first of all, as I do in the video you mentioned, if you look at Trump's history, far from having a history of draining the swamp, he's been swimming in it all his life with some very, very dodgy people, both in business and also in politics. So someone who's swimming in the swamp, he's not going to drain the swamp. And that's why the true colors come out when you have the opportunity to pardon Assange and Snowden. But it's an interesting thing because the whole of this thing, Paul, the whole of this, quote, conspiracy is simply a mind game. The number of people in full knowledge of what they're doing is tiny compared with the global population. So they're trying to do it physically by connecting us to AI, but at the moment, they can't do it physically. There's too many people. The way you get your target population to do what you want is to target the perceptions of your target people so that they will behave as you want. So this is the process. You control what people perceive and believe, and that dictates how they behave. So if people didn't buy the lie that there was a deadly virus flying around in the spring of 2020, all that's followed would not have happened. The perception that there was meant that people meekly went under house arrest in vast numbers on the basis of what they were manipulated to believe. So everything is about perception. And they use the party myth very well in this, in the sense that if you have a party, for instance, that has a certain reputation, then you will not have that party in power when you want to do something that would have people say, see what's going on. They always do this, these people, that's what they do. Big government spending, big business, big government, all that stuff. You don't do that. You do it through a party that doesn't have that reputation, that says it stands for the opposite of that, but it still does it. So, whether the Democrats are in power or the Republicans are in power, the American debt has gone up and up and up and up and up and up and up. And often, if you can do that through a party that says we must get debt down, then it's less obvious. So when you've got a president like Trump, I stand for freedom, I stand for liberty, you can get things through, you rightly point out, that you may not have got through in the same way had Hillary Clinton been in power, with her history going way back of supporting anything but freedom, not least in faraway lands. So this is why I say, don't listen to the words, look at the actions and don't listen to the words, look at the outcome. Never mind what this politician, Trump or anyone else said. What's the outcome? What did they actually do or not do? That tells you where they're really coming from, which is why the Assange Snowden decision was so blatant in exposing the real agenda of Trump. And if you bring Trump back now, if he runs again, with his reputation that's been created and massively expanded in the last few years so that one half of America absolutely hates him, then your goal of a civil war then moves onto the next stage, a much more extreme stage. Because if Trump comes in, then you're going to have massive divisions, probably civil war in the United States. And this is what they want. And so it's important that people look at the actions and the outcomes and not the words. I heard all the words from Trump. We must do this, we must do that. But in 4 years, what did you do? And, you know, a couple of things. Because like I say, it is a mind game. It's about manipulating perception and thus dictating through that perception behavior. So you had the Russia hoax, the Russia collusion hoax with Trump, which was so blatantly a nonsense from the start. But it went on and it went on. Now, you can look at that from one angle and say that was the, quote, deep state trying to undermine Trump. And people believe that. Well, that's fair enough. They have a right to believe it. But, you know, there's another way of looking at it. That Russia hoax, charade and fantasy that went on and impeachment and all this nonsense was the perfect excuse for Trump's words and pledges before he was elected to actually be instigated to happen. And, you know, this is because it's a mind game, and this global cult, its great skill is the manipulation of perception. So it's a maze within a maze within a maze within a maze. You then look at Mar-a-Lago and the raid by the FBI that's no more than a Stasi police force these days. So look at the outcome. So they raid Trump's property in Florida. And, you know, the people that carry these things out, and people like Merrick Garland who kind of give permission for it, I mean, they are the moronic level of all this. They really are. I mean, is there life on Merrick Garland? I have seen no evidence. But those in the shadows you don't see, they are not stupid. They are perceptual manipulators, very, very skilled. And so they would have known that when they did that raid on Trump's property, then it would have given him a tremendous boost among the public who are pushing back or don't like what's going on. Look, they're after Trump again. And so the outcome, if you read story after story after story that I've been reading since it happened, the outcome has been that Trump's stock, Trump's support has increased as a result of that raid. And, you know, Trump and Ron DeSantis, the person this cult does not want is DeSantis, because he has a greater reasonableness. He's massively, massively more intelligent than Trump and politically savvy. And he's shown in Florida he's prepared to take decisions against the system. And so by building up Trump, we'll have to see how it plays out, whether he runs or whether DeSantis runs or whatever. But by building up Trump, you are diverting attention from DeSantis. And if Trump did get in, and of course, if he ran against the Democratic Party, there'd be a bloody good chance that he would. The mess and catastrophe that they are systematically imposing on America, then you would have civil war in America, which is exactly what this cult wants. So we have to get streetwise and not take everything on face value, because if we do, we'll get scammed.
Right. Well, perception is truly reality, and the elites are masters of propaganda. So I appreciate you coming on the program today. David, give us a little bit more information about where we can find your newest books and support you.
Well, I've got a new book out literally in the last few days called The Trap, which goes deeper in the rabbit hole than I've ever been in 32 years. And it's also an audio version just out as well when I read the book on audio. You can get me at davidicke.com. That's the hub where the news stories in context are posted every day, and all my videos. And we have another fantastic, and I don't say that from my point of view, my son Jamie created it, a fantastic media platform called Iconic, which is about news programs and original full-length documentaries. And you can get that at iconic.com. So they're the places to get me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the program. We really appreciate it, and I hope you have a good day, David.
Cheers, Paul. All the best, mate.
All right. Well, that was David Icke.
The whole basis of the manipulation is to divide us, and is to get us to judge each other, to hate each other, to envy each other, to compete with each other.
It's to confuse people, especially the young, about their gender who weren't confused before. That's what it's about.
A lot of people don't carry cash anymore, and they're not grabbing credit cards either. Instead, they're using their smartphones.
A currency that wouldn't be cash, it would be merely electronic, for which there are fundamental implications for human freedom.
The United States is preparing for a war against Russia through Ukraine, and what they plan is to try to take Crimea back. The idea for this Third World War is to involve Russia and China against the West.
The coronavirus pandemic started in China. Oxygen, medical supplies, and hospital staff have
One of the 5 vaccines and research.
Stage 1, you create a problem. It could be a manufactured virus. You want a reaction, and you want them to either say, do something, or you want them to accept what the authorities suggest must be done. So one of the agendas is to massively cull the population. They want to reduce the numbers.